Hi, this is Eddie Hearn, and you're watching Lights Out.
This is FAISAL Khan for Lights Out in association with Shamrock Boxing, and with me via Zoom, all the way from New Zealand, the early hours of the morning in New Zealand. I'm delighted to be joined by heavyweight boxer, undefeated heavyweight boxer, Junior Farr. Well, good morning to good afternoon, Junior. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing well, thank you. Yeah, thanks for giving me a call.
No. Thanks for attending. Even though we're, like I said, 2 o'clock in the morning right now, but hey, listen, the grind never stops. So it's a pleasure to have you on here. I've got to ask: 19-0, undefeated heavyweight boxer, ranked number 5th with the WBO. But you haven't boxed since 2019, the back end of 2019. Now, of course, we're under this pandemic situation right now, which has kind of put a pause on everything. When are we next likely to see you out in the ring? I mean, what sort of discussions have you held with your promoter?
So so with this pandemic thing, it's just completely slowed down the fights for this year. I was hoping to get like 3 or 4 fights in this year, but due to this pandemic, it's all slowed down. But it has opened up a big opportunity for me as well here. So right now we're looking towards the end of the year, December, trying to line up a fight against Joseph Parker. So
Wow.
so that'll be towards the end of the year. We're just smoothing out the contract, and then and I gotta say we are pretty close. It's just a few small things in the contract that we need to iron out, and then we'll be all go.
That is a very, very interesting fight. I mean, you've got two of New Zealand's best heavyweights getting it on in the ring. Joseph Parker, a former world champion. He's been in the ring with some good fighters. How confident are you that you've got what it takes to beat Joseph Parker?
Yeah, I'm quietly confident. It seems a bit early because the credential of the fighters that I've faced so far doesn't really match what Joseph Parker's level is at right now. So I'm confident in myself, but to the outside, to the boxers or like even the non-boxers, this seems a lot early in my career. So so for myself, I'm just basically excited to get into the ring with a ex-world champion. So man. So I guess that's it. I'm just really excited.
We're still under the pandemic as this current coronavirus situation. So every major sports events has to take place without the fans. What's the current situation like in New Zealand? Will this be a fight that takes place behind closed doors? And who is the likely promoter of this fight to be? What sort of platform can we expect to see this fight on?
It'll well we were having open shows not too long ago, but then like a few months ago, there were some fighting shows, and then there were crowds there, big crowds there. That was fine because the pandemic didn't affect us so much. But now we have a resurgence of the coronavirus coming back into the country, so we've kind of gone back down into lockdown again. There's no crowds at like any fights right now. So looking towards December, hopefully the coronavirus levels in this country drop so that we do have a crowd there. I think that will play a big part on whether this fight goes through, because I don't see the fight going through if there's not a crowd. Quite possibly still make it, but personally I don't think that the fight will go through if there is no crowd. But I'm confident that our country can sort itself out and then basically get ourselves in a good spot where we can move back into getting crowds into good live sporting events.
As I mentioned, obviously, it's the best two heavyweights from New Zealand. People would look at you and say an undefeated fighter in the division, but then people would look at Joseph Parker and say former world champion, fought the likes of Anthony Joshua, Andrew Ruiz Jr., even Dillian Whyte, and they will obviously majority of the fans will look towards the guy that's more experienced, that's been in the bigger fights. What sort of strategy do you take into this fight with Joseph Parker, who every time he's been in the UK, especially in the Dillian Whyte fight, has won over a lot of the fans with the performance he put in, especially in that fight with Dillian Whyte. So what sort of strategy and a game plan do you take into, because it is arguably the biggest fight of your career so far?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, like, you know, it most definitely is the biggest fight of my career right now, because with this fight comes a lot of great rewards if I come off the better end of this fight. Excuse me. Yeah, so planning towards this fight, I'm looking to be big and strong, and then also use my boxing class as well. So yeah, so I think that'll make my chances of winning the fight better, as if I come in a bit bigger and stronger, because Joseph Parker is a light, fast guy. I'm not trying to outspeed the guy because he is a lot faster than me. So yeah, so there's different things that I can work on right now, which is strength and power and a bit more weight. So yeah, so I think that's our plan going forward.
As I mentioned, he's fought the likes of Andy Ruiz and, of course, Anthony Joshua and Dillian Whyte. What did you make of the performances by Joseph Parker in the fights against Anthony Joshua and Dillian Whyte?
Yeah, good. Yeah, good performances. I think they were good. Not great. I think he was a bit trigger shy on some of the occasions of the fights, but it is what it is. I think he's come out a better fighter from it. I think he's learned from it, and then now I'm just excited to see what he brings into our fight, because I know he would have learned a lot from those previous losses. So yeah.
As I mentioned, obviously, you're 19-0 now, 10 knockouts, you're undefeated in your career. And Joseph Parker is probably, the biggest fight of your career so far. But has your heart always been set on the Joseph Parker fight as your next fight? Because when you look at not just the fighters in Europe, America, if you look across the pond in Australia, there's fighters such as Lucas Brown. There's even the undefeated fighter Dempsey McKean. Everybody loves it when two undefeated fighters get in the ring and put their O on the line. But was the Joseph Parker fight the number one fight you've always wanted?
Yes, especially for us in the southern part of the world. We I think it'll be great for the fans here, and I think it'll be great just to grow the sport here, because down here we're a very rugby nation, and a sport like boxing doesn't get as much light. So me taking on Joseph Parker, and especially with us having a bit of history back in the amateur days, so we fought each other 4 times back in the amateurs, and we both split the decision. So he has won 2, I've won 2. So this is our 5th time facing. Now it's in the pros. I think that adds on a little bit of spice into the lead up as well. So this will be the 5th time fighting, and I think that'll bring a bit of drama and just bring a bit more excitement. And that's part of the reason why I really want to fight him.
It definitely does add to that spice. You 4 amateur fights, 2 wins each, and then you've got like the 5th and final set going into the heavyweights. And who knows, if it is a great fight, could possibly even do it again. I mentioned experience. You've also got experience yourself. 19 wins, but you've also you've sparred twice with the former WBC heavyweight champion Deontay Wilder. What did that do for you in your career? Because not only did you spar a fighter like Wilder, but you was also part of 2 training camps where he was preparing for the biggest fights of his career in Tyson Fury.
Yeah, I mean, going into the fight camp really assured me that basically what I'm doing down here in New Zealand, and the way I'm training and the way I'm fighting down here, that just gave me a lot of confidence. I came there kind of comparing the way that we train, the way that our level matches up to them. So sparring sparring with the Wilder camp and sparring with Wilder himself, that just gave me a lot of confidence, and then kind of confirmed to me that I don't really need to move anywhere else right now, because I feel like I'm doing exactly what I need to down here in New Zealand, and that me moving forward will just take time. Pieces of the puzzle will basically fit eventually, and then like I'll start to make bigger moves. Also, what I learned from Wilder, from the camp, is that he's got that champion mindset. So I think that's probably the biggest thing that I've kind of got from the camp, which is like, he is a great boxer, great fighter, but his mindset is but his mindset is just world level. So yeah, so that was the biggest thing that I got from it.
I know it's only sparring, but obviously when you're in there, you're sparring with the former world champion Deontay Wilder. You want to make a good impression. Now, honest question, Junior, if you had to assess your overall camps with Deontay Wilder, would you say, you know what, I reckon I got the better of him, or would you say big learning curve, and big, in terms of experience you've learned from it, and then in future fights, one day you might even fancy a fight with Deontay Wilder?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of sparring, sparring, there's always different approaches to it. There's been times where I've gone in there to basically fight / show off type of thing, and then there's been times that I've gone in there and then I've tried something else. I've tried to implement more of Tyson Fury style as well. So I can't really take too much off the sparring sessions. Just that I just want to say that the sparring sessions were very competitive, and that also was just a great learning set for me.
Deontay Wilder, I believe, released a statement the other day in regards to that second fight with Tyson Fury. He came out and said that he had an injury leading up to that fight. You spent time with Deontay Wilder. He was in and around his team throughout the whole build up to the Tyson Fury fight. Would you say there's any truth in the claims that Wilder's made that there was an injury leading up to that second fight?
100% yes. So yeah, so he did hurt himself going into the second fight. I don't know how bad of an injury it was though. I just know it was an injury, and that training was stopped straight away, and that he basically had to get it checked. And so I saw the incident. It looked bad. I just wasn't too sure on how bad it was. But I wasn't surprised that he still continued with the fight because that's what fighters do. And also, no one goes into the fight 100%. So so I kind of knew that the fight was still going to happen. I knew that he wasn't going to look for this injury as a way out. Because as I mentioned before, he's just got that mindset that okay, this thing has happened to me. Let's just get it checked, but I'm still carrying on with it. So in terms of the injury, yeah, that is 100% true.
Everybody knows the second fight, what happened. Tyson Fury stopped Deontay Wilder in the 7th round. Now, a lot of people are sort of waiting to see what happens next with Deontay Wilder. There's that option of a third fight with Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury's come out and said that he wants to fight Wilder again, or if not, he'd like to move on to Anthony Joshua. But with the sport of boxing, you never know what's going to happen. I mean, it's that type of sport until something's, even forget signed, sealed, and delivered. Until the two fighters are in the ring, then nothing's for sure in the sport. What do you see happening next with Deontay Wilder? Like I said, you spent time with him. You said that he's got the mindset of a champion. Eddie Hearn come out a few weeks ago and said that if he doesn't take a third fight with Tyson Fury, he should retire. What do you think is next in Deontay Wilder's career?
I couldn't say. I would think that he would definitely want to get the belt back for sure. So I know he's got a limited amount of days to do that, to basically exercise his rematch clause. I would say that he will. You know, I definitely think that he will rematch Tyson Fury, but with this pandemic thing, I don't know what the situation is there. But I think the fight, well, like, you know, if I don't actually know what to say. But yeah, but I think, yeah, I think for me, I think the fight is going to happen. I think the fight is going to happen, but it's hard to gauge because Wilder has been very quiet, so I don't know what the situation is there. But I would think that he would want that belt back for sure.
The division is so exciting right now. It's so action packed. You've got so many good fighters in that division. It's the heavyweight division is the best it's been since, I believe, for a very, very long time. And obviously, it took another twist a few weeks ago when Alexander Povetkin knocked out Dillian Whyte. I know you're a fan of this, big fan of boxing. I take it you watched him. I mean, what was your thoughts on Povetkin's win over Dillian Whyte?
Yeah, that was a super shot, man. That was a super shot. Uh, yeah, the fight get out to be what I expected it to be. I didn't think Dillian Whyte was going to drop him as early as he did. You know, because on that, shucks, was it the fourth round that
Yeah.
he dropped him twice? Yeah. Yeah, so so I think that speaks to White's power. So he dropped him earlier than I thought he would, but then Povetkin just came back with that amazing shot with just that sneaky uppercut coming through the middle. Yeah, man, that was just a super fight, and good on Povetkin for taking such a risky fight and for coming out better at the end. So. Are those two going to have a rematch, or are they?
Well, from what I've heard, the rematch could be announced in the next couple of weeks. So, if we do,
Yeah, that'll be
well, you
awesome.
practically just asked my next question. If we do get a rematch, what sort of prediction do you give for the rematch?
Oh man, I've even though White lost, I feel like he can make the proper adjustments to win. Yeah, I've definitely got to go with White for a win. I'm not too sure how he'll win, but yeah, but I definitely am going with White.
Okay. One final question, Junior. Just tell the boxing fans what type of a fight are we going to get when two, New Zealanders, the best two heavyweights New Zealand has to offer, get in the ring? What happens on fight night?
That's gonna be a good fight, man. It's gonna be a good fight. I think it'll be a bit. I think it'll be a bit on the technical side. I think me and Parker are a bit more technical, and we like to sit behind our jabs a bit more. So yeah. So with that comes a bit of boxing science, and I think it'll be fight friendly for the boxing fans. So I think it'll be a good technical fight. But then I think with the type of training that I'm doing, you could expect to see a bit more power and a bit more fireworks. So I definitely want to say that this is going to be a good technical but explosive fight at the same time.
Well, we're all looking forward to that. I mean, time zone wise, we might have to stay awake a lot late, but we're definitely looking forward to that. And we wish you the best of luck with that fight, biggest fight of your career, and we hope it all goes well. And we hope you put on a big show for the fans.
Oh, thank you so much.
Not a problem. Well, Junior, is there anything you'd like to add as we bring the interview to an end?
No, thank you. I just want to thank you for giving me the time and for the opportunity to come here and share what I have to say. Thank you so much.
No, thank you for giving us the opportunity to get you on here. Like I said, now it's nearly 2:30 in the morning UK time, so I could tell who's definitely got more energy about them. But now, Junior, listen, once again, thank you very much for your time. We look forward to speaking to you soon. Hopefully, during fight week, it's going to be a bit difficult, but we'll have to get you on Zoom again.
Sure.
good luck in terms of the rest of your career. And yeah, once again,
Thank
thank you very much for giving us a chance to get you on Lights Out.
Awesome, no problem. Thank you, man.
Thank you very much. Junior Far, thank you very much for talking to Lights Out.